Hi, Carl here for ProAV TV. I'm at IBC 2019 talking to Ted on the Aputure stand about their new prototype for their 600D. Okay, Ted, this is exciting.
This is really exciting.
What is this beast behind us?
This right here is the Aputure Lightstorm 600D. This is the brightest ever point source LED on the market. We see the comments and we see what people are asking for. We know that people are asking for high-powered LED solutions to replace HMIs, things like 800 watt HMIs, things like 1.2K HMIs. This is about the approximate equivalent to an 800 watt HMI now. With the Bowens mount on here, you're able to now be able to attach things like the Aputure Spotlight. So you now have an actual comparison to an 800 watt Joe Leica or something like that.
Yeah.
You have a light that's a household powerable light that you can actually plug two of these to a standard circuit, or four if you're in Europe. And this kind of thing can really compete with the sun. We're talking about really being able to expose an entire room, a wide shot, use a Bowens mount modifier, fill up something like an 8-foot softbox if you wanted to. Yeah, first time in history. So, first things first, Bowens mount, interchangeable, just like the rest of the Aputure ecosystem. Okay. Works with softboxes, everything there. Yep. This is going to ship, of course, with a bigger reflector. It's going to be about a 10-inch reflector dish. Powers on with a standard XLR cable. Again, this is a beefy, big light. It's bigger, really, than any Aputure light that we produced, but it's still small enough to be able to power and rig out onto a C-stand arm, which is, again, unfathomable when it comes to tungsten.
So I imagine the size of this is down to the cooling, right? It must be difficult to get one chip as bright as that.
Yeah, honestly, one of the biggest things that we're watching is thermal management and how that technology and that industry is actually changing. Fans have gotten so advanced to the point now that we're actually sourcing some amazing fans that just came out literally a month ago. And these fans right now, you're going to check on the bottom. We have one large fan here, but that's it. And it moves at an extremely low RPM. Amazing. This is actually quieter than, we believe, the 300D Mark II. And again, we can't take credit for that. We have to give credit to the fan industry and thermal management because they've been making advancements. Yeah. On the bottom here, of course, we've got our ballast. Now, I cannot promise that this is going to be the final design of the ballast. And this is obviously a pretty hefty ballast. But that being said, you can carry it, though. It is sort of something that you can carry for sure. In the future, we are planning on making this ballast smaller. However, that's why I'm saying that this is not really a release per se that we can say. Sure. It's just we wanted to show the future of where LED technology is going and say, for the people out there, there are actually naysayers online that believe that LED will never be able to replace something like, say, an M18, you know, a 1800 watt HMI, the kind of most popular, powerful fixture out there. But you're hearing it here first. LED is going to be at that point. HMI, if you think of it as just a ladder, we're climbing up bit by bit every single year. 300D Mark II is a 575 watt HMI. This is arguably, again, 800 watt HMI, so very excited.
So just the fact that this can be run off VLOX alone, that's a huge deal. Try doing that with HDMI.
Yes, absolutely. And we did a couple things here. So there's two battery sockets on the front. There's also two batteries on the back here. So you can actually mount this using the same lightning clamp that we have for the 300D Mark II. So you can snap this onto a stand, no problem. But on the front here, these two VLOC batteries, actually, if you use high voltage V-mount batteries, which a couple companies, I would say all the big ones out there, IDX, Blue Shape, Core, they all have one high voltage battery each that they've started coming out with. Sure. As the battery industry grows, you'll actually be able to power this thing off of two VLOC batteries.
That's amazing.
Which is insane. And again, you're getting the power of something that's essentially, what, a 5K, 4.5K tungsten light?
Absolutely.
That's something that now indie owner-operators can own, operate, plug into household circuits. And
no more having to hire generators for the middle of fields and stuff like that.
And just like all the other Aputure lights, we do have things like effects built in. We've got television, fireworks, explosions. This dampen knob here, it's a really simple, easy control. As far as our lighting goes, you've got dimless, stepless control here. I can go all the way down to 1% for low intensity as well.
And what color temperature is it?
We're talking about 5600 right out the pad. So just daylight,
normal 5600.
Straight daylight. We are doing a brightness game here. We're trying to be the first ones to really take point source, high-powered, good quality LED lighting. Sure. So, DMX, of course, built in. We're not scaring any expenses here. New trick locking cables, of course, 5-pin standard XLR cable. So you want to rig your light, throw this on the floor, throw out a 55-foot XLR cable. If you want to throw that on, boom it over somebody, not a problem. Again, we're keeping the head as small and lightweight as possible so that you really can rig it and fill, say, a space light. You know, fill up an entire soundstage, man. It's really up to you now.
So full capability of the C300D Mark II, but just bigger, brighter, better.
Bigger, brighter, and better. Yeah, and it's honestly, there's nothing else on the market that's this bright.
This is obviously a prototype in development type of thing. How long do you reckon it'll be before we start seeing this?
We're planning on February. We
Wow.
think by February of next year you will be able to see this. So Q1 2020. Price point's not set yet.
Sure.
But again, just as far as just output, we're talking again 600 watts of raw output, twice as bright as the 300D Mark II. As far as color temperature and as far as CRI and color fidelity, again, we're not going to release anything unless it's the CRI and TLCI of 96, 97. For the SSI nerds out there, again, we're going to be trying to hit at least about 78, 79, which is really, really good, high quality stuff. And then as far as pricing goes, again, I can't say anything yet, but if you know us, you know Aputure, we're not going to disappoint. We're going to do the best we can here. So that's
Cool.
the plan.
Cheers, mate.
Absolutely. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.